Welcome back, everybody. I thought I would do something a little different with this video and essentially just pop on the camera here and riff on a little bit of a, not really a rant, but a public service announcement, let's say, for anyone who is new to psychedelics or psychedelic curious. So if you're someone who's either just started taking psychedelics, maybe you're self-medicating without a therapist, trying to help your mental health, improve your mental health. If you're someone who is curious about psychedelics, you've seen all the rave reviews and the testimonials and all this stuff, and maybe you've gone to a bunch of therapists and taken all the medications and none of it's really worked for you, and now you kind of have your eye on psychedelic therapy or using psychedelics for healing. If you're in one of these kind of beginner scenarios and you have this expectation that you're just going to kind of eat psychedelics a few times, right? Kind of one and done, take, 1 to 5 journeys and suddenly have the epiphany you need to have and be healed, and it's going to be all good. And then you can just put it behind you and move forward with your life, no longer having the issue that you've had for however long you've had it. I want to set the record straight with you and clarify what you can expect from the territory here, and help you really be better informed about what it is you're getting involved with or about to get involved with before you go there. So just for quick context here, I'm someone who works with people in a psychedelic capacity as a coach and a hypnotherapist. I'm very much trained, very much experienced around these medicines. I've been working with them for 30 years, both in recreational and in therapeutic contexts. I'm constantly studying this stuff. So this is something I'm intimately familiar with from firsthand experience, both as someone going through the process and as someone helping other people navigate the process themselves. Here's what you can expect. Here's my PSA point to you guys. Most people who are new to this territory and excited about it expect that they can just kind of get in, get out, and get on with their life. I think that that's a really misformed conception. It's a misunderstanding. It's a really poorly conceived way of relating to this. I think a much more accurate way to think about psychedelics, if you're considering taking them, is that they are going to be a lifestyle change for you. I want you to think of this in the same way you would think about moving to another city, taking up a radical change in diet that totally changes your life, taking up a whole new way of organizing your schedule, or switching from, working in the office to working at home. It's a massive lifestyle shift. Okay. And this is both true in my opinion and in my experience, both with psychedelics in general, also with therapy in general. Therapy is a lifestyle. It's something you really have to lean into and commit yourself to for however long it takes for your particular nervous system and set of issues to be released and resolved and rebalanced and let go, right? That being said, just to be clear, I'm not a big fan of these therapists that stretch out like an endless ongoing therapy, but I do think you need to have that kind of mindset of this is open-ended and this is a new phase in my life and this is a new way I'm living my life. And that's really the right attitude to have with psychedelics and psychedelic therapy. For the people, I see a lot of these people who have these high expectations. They're desperate. They've tried all the other forms of therapy. They've tried a bunch of different medications. They've been suffering often for more than a decade. And then they see psychedelics and it feels like a last hope kind of scenario. And they rush towards the psychedelics, being underprepared, not really being fully aware of what it means in terms of a profound radical shift in your lifestyle. And then they throw themselves at it, hoping that just a couple big, boom, dramatic kind of experiences will give them what they need. And often what happens is there's an orientation period, probably for the first 10, 15 times you take a psychedelic, where, a lot of people expect that they're going to be done in 3 sessions or something. And then they don't have the big epiphany, or they have a bunch of fool's gold epiphanies that don't really translate into lasting change, either because they don't know what they're doing, the therapist doesn't know what they're doing, or it's just not a complete healing. It's just kind of a missing the mark in terms of realization. There's often just more work that gets discovered or uncovered along the way too, and to really resolve whatever the pattern is in your life that you're wanting to let go of, whatever the problem is, it's just you discover it ends up taking more work, or it takes more slowing down, or takes more patience and thoroughness, or takes more presence and compassion, or all these other qualities that if we're in a rush and we're just kind of expecting to boom, bang it out, isn't really going to fit well, if that makes sense. So this is the thing. This is the thing I see, the classic mistake that I see all these new people making. It's like rushing into it, getting dashed upon the rocks of either a difficult early experience. And a lot of times early experiences are difficult because we're kind of undoing all these layers of a lifetime of accumulated stress and judgment and misunderstanding and triggers we haven't processed, and all those things being held in the body or in the mind or in the emotional system. And it's all this static, it's all this noise in the system. And first your system has to clean all that noise out before you can even really start to see and track clearly what's going on with you, right? So that's a common early experience. And then, it goes the rate it goes, is the honest truth about healing. I mean, in the same way that you can't really rush a flower to open and blossom once it's got sunshine and rain and, fresh air. It's going to take whatever time it takes, depending on just kind of that flower and the environment around it. It's the same thing with healing here. Like, your nervous system unfolds and blossoms at the rate that it's going to unfold and blossom, no faster, no slower, right? And so I really want you to understand this. I want you to understand that if you're going to step to this, it's significant, it's powerful. It does eat up a lot of your time and your attention and your bandwidth, not only in terms of taking the psychedelic and the hours of the session, and not only the prep before and the integration afterwards, but all the time in between sessions that you're like totally reorienting your understanding of the cosmos, of life, of yourself, of your relationships, of your personal history, of your view of humanity and what it means to be a human being at this point in time here on Earth. And there's so much that has to get rearranged, right? And it really does require being willing to make changes and let go and transform and be challenged and have big questions you don't have answer to, or go through very uncomfortable experiences sometimes that are overwhelming and confusing and sad and deep, and the thing you didn't want to look at or that you didn't want to feel. All of that is part of the package, right? And so ideally, in a perfect world, you're not self-medicating without education, because first of all, psychedelics aren't meds. This isn't organic SSRIs. You can't just take them as a replacement, as a happy mood pill, and it's going to magically solve your problem. What you're doing is recalibrating your nervous system at a very deep level if you're using psychedelics and therapy together. So ideally, in a perfect world, as I was just saying, you have support. You have at least a decent therapist to work with who understands what you're doing, is cool with it, is in agreement with it, can work with the material that comes up for you. In an optimal world, you have a psychedelic therapist, or you have someone who trip sits you and holds space with you while you are actually taking the medicine, so that you feel safe and you feel connected and protected and looked after. Ideally, you have some good, healthy lifestyle things in place in terms of diet, sleep, in terms of relationships that you can call upon to kind of support you. You maybe have healthy practices like yoga and journaling and all that stuff, like locked and loaded and ready to go. Ideally, you're generally pretty emotionally stable. You're not desperate. You're not hoping that it's this, or you're going to be suicidal if it doesn't work. You're not, it all has to be right now. You're in a place where you're grounded. You're, maybe not feeling the way you want to feel. Maybe there are things to heal, but you're solid enough to keep going and keep working through it and stay patient as you heal. Right. So I just want to put this message out there, because I feel like I keep seeing the same thing, which is newbies who are really optimistic, wonderfully so, excited, wonderfully so. It's really sweet to see. But then the expectations are really not on track with the experience of working with psychedelics. And people end up having, disappointments, overwhelm, difficult experiences, the realization that there's a lot more work there than they realized. That's a huge one. You don't really know. Here's the thing. Most people don't know when they're coming to a therapist or coach or whatever, someone like me, a hypnotherapist, they don't really know what the real issue is. Most of us by design are bringing our symptom to the therapist and not the real root issue. So there's even a whole process of discovery of getting in touch with what the real thing is in the first place anyways. So just understand that it's a whole thing. It's a whole lifestyle change. It's not just, I'm going to do this and I'm all better and just cruise on with my life. I wish, I will also say, if you're one of these people that I kind of mentioned earlier who have done all the different forms of therapy and all the different forms of meds and had no success with it, you feel discouraged and demoralized and disheartened, and you're not sure if you're right for psychedelics, they might be too destabilizing for you, but you feel desperate, you feel like you've tried everything and nothing's worked. Here's what I want to say to you really quick too, since I'm doing this PSA and this kind of, expectation adjustment kind of video here. I would say to you that even if psychedelics aren't right for you, don't lose hope, because there are all kinds of modalities of therapy, which are different entry points and ways of relating to issues. There's so many out there that you don't know about that. And one of those may be the right thing, the thing that clicks for you and it's that right combination of the right modality and the right therapist and the way you guys interact at the right time and what you're ready to tolerate and what your nervous system is capable of processing, things you've learned along the way, and all that kind of like lines up and clicks into place, and all of a sudden you find that you're having a therapeutic breakthrough. Based on what I've been learning and what I've been seeing, in terms of different approaches to neuroscience and change work and personal transformation work, there are so many different approaches out there. There's so many styles out there that work, that are powerful, that are often even really quick. And so if you're someone who you're not sure psychedelics are going to work, you feel desperate, you need hope, I just want my message to you is to take heart and keep looking for other styles of therapy. If what you mean when you say therapy didn't work for me is that EMDR didn't work and CBT didn't work and psychoanalysis didn't work, or some other kind of more run-of-the-mill form of therapy didn't work for you, there's so many other forms. I would be looking at hypnosis. I'd be looking at NLP practitioners. I'd be looking at somatic therapy modalities, different forms of working with the body. I'd be looking at everything I could, because you never know what that one thing is going to be that is the right key that helps you to, boom, unlock it. I've seen this happen so many times with people. And so, yeah, I just want to kind of, again, get you to understand that there's hope, A, and B, to understand that if you're going to step to psychedelics, it's no small thing. It is a lifestyle change that you have to be ready for and open to. If you have if you're married, you have a partner, your partner needs to be in support of it. It's a significant thing. Okay. So, enough said. I'm kind of rambling here. I'm kind of repeating myself. Hopefully this hits home for you. If this resonates, you do consider leaving a comment, letting me know what you think about this, or leaving a thumbs up to let the algorithm know to share it to other people. If you have any questions, my email will be down below in the description of the email here. I'm happy to answer any questions you have about this if you just want to know more about it. And I think we'll leave it there for now. Much love to you, whoever you are, wherever you are. I'm truly wishing you the best. And I appreciate your time and your attention here. And I will talk to you guys soon.